I want to tell you a little story, and this story is back from my college days when I was in second year, um, close to the end of my second year, and I just want to go a bit over my schedule, what me and like my friends we all used to do. We would have classes from 8:30, 9:30, 10 in the morning, and depending upon what kind of classes, which faculty you chose, and what was the timing of the classes that you chose. Based on that, and these classes would go up until 6:30 p.m. in the evening. Sometimes some classes we would have at 6 p.m. and these classes would end at 7:30 p.m. And we used to stay in the hostel. Now, sure, there were there were kids like we used to stay in PGs outside of the campus. We used to stay in the hostel inside of the campus. Super expensive. And our boys' hostel, it was like around 1.5 kilometers away from the academic block where we actually used to have our lectures. So you could imagine like walking those 1.5 kilometers from the hostel to the academic block. If you're walking at a regular pace, it would take almost 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending upon the speed that you're walking at. And you can imagine we had to go back and forth every time we wanted to go back to our rooms, get something like, or even change or have something to eat in the mess. So just going to academic block to have these lectures and then come back to the hostel room would take us about 40 minutes. And sometimes we used to do this back and forth twice a day. So we used to walk almost 6 kilometers in a day, and that would take a significant chunk of our schedule on a daily basis. So almost like an hour, 15 minutes. This is the time it would actually take us on a regular basis just for the commute, right? And now obviously we would have breaks in the between. It's not like we would have classes like straight from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sure, we would have breaks in between. But yeah, because of the commute, it was such a big issue, because by the time we would reach back our rooms, we wouldn't have any energy left to do anything. Now maybe that's an excuse, but that is how it used to be. And then after we were done with all of our lectures, we would come back to our rooms, and some of us would start coding. So we would just come back, chill a bit, relax, have some snacks, and then get down to code. And that coding session would take about 1 hour, 1.5, 2 hours sometimes. And by the time I was done with all of this, basically going to attend the lectures, this whole commute back and forth between hostel and the academic block, and then come back and then have some snack and then code for hours, I would be so drained out of energy because of all the talking with my friends. And that was nice, but it takes some of your energy out, takes some of your energy away. All I could think about at 10 p.m. was that I just want to crash down on my mattress and sleep. But guess what I used to do? I would crash on my mattress, but I wouldn't go straight to sleep. I would start scrolling some reels. And if it wasn't reels, I would just, start playing a movie or take an episode out and start watching it. And what was my rationale behind it? My thinking was that I haven't had a single second just to myself. All of my time was spent on doing these activities. And now I just want some peace time just to myself, where I don't have to interact with anyone, where I don't have to work. I can just kick my legs back, crash down, and start watching some series. Just unload, just wind up. Now, the wise thing to do would be, as soon as you start feeling so much of tiredness, you just go to sleep and then wake up fresh and bright and get on with the day. But this is what I used to do instead. And I think it's not just me, it's most of us. A lot of us would rather spend an hour or two scrolling reels or watching movies instead of just falling asleep. And now, why is this? Why is this need? Why do we feel this need to have a little bit of alone time, where we would even be willing to sacrifice our own sleep just so that we can get that extra hour or two? Man, why wouldn't we just go and fall asleep instead of having this me time? Well, I did some research. Turns out this thing actually has a name. It's revenge bedtime procrastination. It is the term for when we deliberately delay sleep to reclaim some of that personal time, especially when we feel that our entire day was completely consumed by our work, obligations, and we lacked any kind of leisure time or autonomy over our day. When we feel that we had little to no control over our daytime schedule, we sort of act out and are more likely to delay our sleep, even when we are tired, just to experience that little sense of freedom, some control over our life. For us, it is like a coping mechanism to wind down after a long day and gradually transition into that comfort zone. And it then manifests itself in the form of us scrolling through reels, endless YouTube videos, shorts, binging episodes after episode, or even just watching single 1 hour episode. This behavior is not just about watching TV or scrolling through social media. It's often about having that influence, that power over what you do, where you're not interrupted by any external factors. Consuming content offers a mental escape from daily stressors and responsibilities, and they provide a quick, easy escape and hence ideal for winding down. For you and me, this pre-sleep content consumption becomes a ritual, signaling the end of the day and providing closure. I've seen a lot of studies that suggest that this indulgence in revenge bedtime procrastination has often been linked to poor self-regulation, but I don't want to go too deep into that. That's just going to get too sad. Now the question arises, whether is it good or bad? You see, I don't want to be a Karen and go around telling people, hey, sir, whatever you're doing, it's wrong. You are wrong. Your mother is wrong. Your dog is wrong. The mother of your dog is wrong. You should have never been born. Yes, I'm not that kind of person. I think going over some statistics might actually help. Coming from my own math of how much I indulge in bedtime procrastination, I spend roughly around 1.5, sometimes even 2 hours watching a series before actually going to sleep. Now, if I just take the regular work week, that's still 7 to 10 hours every week that I'm spending on my little me time. That's a whole night's worth of sleep I'm just throwing away every week. And by the way, that's still after leaving the weekends on the table. नहीं सुना मुझे, movie देखनी है मुझे. Let's see. A recent survey by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine found that 91% of individuals reported losing sleep because they stayed up past their daytime due to digital distractions, which includes behaviors like revenge, bedtime, procrastination. They're talking about us. They're talking about us. The survey highlights that digital activities such as watching shows, scrolling social media, or browsing the internet are major contributors to delayed bedtimes and reduced sleep duration. By sub. On average, bedtime procrastination delays sleep by more than 15 minutes per 15 minutes. ये तो बहुत कम है. यहाँ तो मैं 1-2 घंटे की बात कर रहा हूँ. According to research published in the journal Stress and Health. While this figure may seem modest, it definitely does seem modest because, 2 hours, 1.5 hours. The cumulative effect can be significant, especially for those who procrastinate regularly. But ये तो मतलब, so ये US वाला, I mean this was US statistic, but okay, there's a global survey as well. So in a 2019 global survey, 62% of adults worldwide reported not getting enough sleep, averaging 6.8 hours on a weeknight compared to the recommended 8 hours. Of those, 37% specifically blamed their hectic schedules, which often led to revenge bedtime procrastination as people try to reclaim personal time at night. University students, surveys, and cross-sectional studies consistently show that bedtime procrastination is associated with shorter sleep duration and poorer sleep quality, with some groups losing up to 1 to 2 hours of, okay, now they are talking about me. 1 to 2 hours of sleep per night when the behavior is starting. But so now my question is actually, okay, even if you do, what if you are not losing sleep? What if you still get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night? And, you're just going to bed late. But is there a problem in that case also? I think there might be. Maybe something related to circadian rhythm or something. Let's see. Okay, I think before going over that, I should first see how is it negatively impacting your sleep, quality of life, and well-being. Consistently delaying bedtime for leisure activities lead to reduced total sleep time and poorer sleep quality. People who engage in revenge bedtime procrastination report more difficulty falling asleep, shorter sleep duration, and higher rates of insomnia symptoms. Chronic sleep deprivation from bedtime procrastination is linked to impaired cognitive performance, lower mood, increased stress, and higher risk of depression. Guys, I think it's over. We should we should stop procrastinating. We should just go to sleep. We should just sleep, Okay, यहाँ पे cardiovascular diseases और inflammation वगैरह की बात हो रही है, वो सब मैं नहीं पढ़ने वाला. I think you all can just go and read that because now coming, if you are still getting 8 hours of sleep, then what? तो जैसे यहाँ पे like whatever I am seeing over here is that you still मतलब mess up your circadian rhythm because you're supposed to go to sleep at a particular time and then you have to wake up at a particular time. But because if you're wasting all of that time and if you're spending all of that time in watching TV shows just to reclaim that some of that personal time to feel relaxed, you're still basically messing with your circadian rhythm. Okay, this one is the most important, I feel. The urge to reclaim personal time at night may signal underlying issues with work-life balance, stress, or unmet emotional needs. While not directly harmful, if sleep is sufficient, it can be a sign you need to address daytime stressors or find healthier ways to incorporate leisure and relaxation into your day. Guys, the bottom line is just don't watch series. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, bro. I mean, just talk about the cognitive load that we are getting, the brain fog. We are just numbing ourselves, our minds. It's legit hampering our ability to focus. It is like an addiction. Now, after having covered all that, where does that bring us? Should we or should we not? You see, I hate to be that person who gives other people gyan as to what they should or they shouldn't do. In fact, this video in itself serves as a reality check for myself because this is something that I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. I get off work at 11:30 p.m. depending upon the day, and sometimes it's even 12:30 p.m., 12:30 a.m. What am I saying? If there's a client meeting scheduled, and by the end of it, I am so tired. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think of anything, and yet I end up popping open my laptop and start playing Friends and wind up watching 2 to 3 episodes, even more sometimes. God, it's a sickness. Yeah. Look at that fat ass. I think after having all of this info laid out, everyone's smart enough to decide what's good for them. And honestly, I don't really think that everyone has a problem with this habit. No two people are the same, and not everyone struggles with this stuff. As I said, not everyone has a problem with it. But for those of us who do, I think what we can start doing is start cutting down on our watch time slowly. So instead of watching 3 episodes, we can just start watching 2 episodes. And then, eventually bring it down just to 1 episode. Instead of scrolling for an hour, we can cut down by 15 minutes and use alarms on our phones to remind us, whoa, your 45 minutes are up. Time to put the phone down and go to bed like a good kid. And then eventually set a timer for 15 minutes and just scroll for just that much amount of time. You see, we don't really need to watch anything or scroll before sleeping. We don't need to entertain ourselves to death just in order to get ready to sleep. It's all in our minds. Now I hope we all can sleep peacefully without the urge to consume content. I'll see you guys next time. This was my first YouTube video. I kept wondering when I will get to say this. It was never like I never thought I would be saying this because I always knew I am going to be creating a YouTube video. It was just a matter of when. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I spent the entire weekend working, scripting and filming for this video. I'm super exhausted, super tired, and all I want to do is just crash down and sleep. But man, before that, I just need to wind up a little. I'll just watch a few episodes of Friends, maybe scroll some reels, and then I'll sleep. Yeah, that's it. Pretty good for a first video, huh?